Hello, my dear viewers. My name is Temiloluwa Grace Owolabi, and you're welcome to this space where we're all about personal growth, professional development, increase in every area of your life. The tagline here is to be dynamic, unique, and outstanding. If this is your first time here, please do well to like this video, share it to one or two people around you, and hit the subscribe button so that you can officially be a part of our community. Today, I want to talk about something that I believe is very crucial to our lives as humans. I got an invitation to speak on this topic recently from the time that I'm filming this video, and after I shared my insights with them, I thought to myself, how about I make an extensive video on this topic where I get to reach out to more people and spread the knowledge across. And so that is exactly what I want to do now. It's going to be titled Actualizing Your Potential, but it's going to cover much more than that. I'm going to talk about purpose. I'm going to talk about living a fulfilled life. And so as we go on, if you see any parts, anything that I say that just, rings a bell in your heart or touches you, make sure that you hold on to that word. You can leave it in the comments so I know, and most importantly, run with it. So let's go. Call other people around you, tell them to come and watch on their devices preferably, and let them also like the video, let them share it to many other people. Okay, let's go. The subject of purpose discovery is one that every human has in mind. It's something that everybody wants to get an answer to. It's something that people constantly question themselves to know if they're exactly doing that. Am I discovering my purpose? Am I living it out? Am I where, I am supposed to be? Am I living to the fullest of my potential? Is there more that I can do with my life? And that's a good thing, actually. It's a sign that one is growing. It's a sign that one is not stagnant. But I'm going to start on this note. The first thing I want everybody that is watching me right now or that will come across this video to know is that you are not a mistake. I think that's fundamental because at some point in life, we might begin to question our existence, especially if the circumstances surrounding your birth is unusual. On earth, we have people that we say they are products of unwanted pregnancies, unplanned children, unplanned births. But with God, there is no such thing as an accident. So God is intentional about your life. God is intentional about placing you on earth. I remember that several years ago when I came across the book of Jeremiah in the Bible for the first time as a young child, I read the conversation that he had with God. And God said to him that before you were born, I have formed you. I have ordained you. That struck me deeply because it meant that long before Jeremiah ever heard the voice of God, before he even knew that his life was going to be like that, God already had it not just planned, but he had settled it. That shows that God's way of thinking is far beyond anything that we humans can comprehend. And so I want you watching me right now to settle that in your mind, that no matter what your life looks like right now, you are not a mistake. God has a purpose for placing you here in this land, in this country, at this time, and God knows what he wants to achieve with your life. If you have settled that, then I believe that we can move on to the next point. The next major area that I want to consider is where you should look at in terms of discovering your purpose. And I'm going to mention 3 major areas that I have learned. The first place to look at is upwards. The second place to look at is inwards. The third place to look at is outwards. So look upwards, look inwards, and look outwards. I'm going to explain that in a bit. When I say look upwards, I mean look up to God. God is the creator of every single person. God made us. God is intentional about us. God placed us on earth to fulfill his assignment. Who is the best person to ask about your life if not your creator? Think about the first time you bought a gadget and you had to figure out how to use it. You were fumbling with the thing and wondering how it works, what to press. And then when you look into the carton that it came with, you found this manual. You read through it and then suddenly everything made sense. That is exactly how our lives are designed. God, who created us and placed us here on earth, has given us a manual to direct our lives. He has the specific blueprint for your life and for your destiny. And it would be a waste of time. It would be pointless, actually, to wander about in life trying to fulfill your purpose outside of the one who directed it, who created you, who has the manual in his hands. That's the very first place to look at. You have to prayerfully ask God, I am on this journey to find out what my purpose is. I know that you created me. I know that you made me. I know that you have something that you want me to fulfill on this earth. So please reveal it to me. A simple prayer like that is enough for God to reveal to you. His word says, call unto me and I will answer you. I will show you great and mighty things that you do not know. God is not wicked. In fact, he is just. And whosoever calls upon the name of the Lord will be saved. He is willing to answer you. He's just waiting for you to ask him that question. So don't forget, the very first place to look to is upwards. Now, having said that, the next point is inwards, right? Inwards means looking at yourself. Look inside of yourself. What are the questions that burn in your heart? What are the things that you find yourself gravitating towards? What are the things or skills that come naturally to you? What are the areas that you do without any form of stress? Something you can do on and on and on, even if you're not being paid. That is a pointer to something that God has called you to do. That is a pointer to your purpose. And if you begin from there, you can actually start to actualize your potential. I discovered this quote by Tina Leaford, and I absolutely love it. It says, when you know yourself, you are empowered. When you accept yourself, you are invisible. There is so much power, honestly, that comes from knowing who you are, that comes from knowing yourself. When you are aware of who you are, you have this confidence. You speak from a place of knowledge. You're not unaware, you're not ignorant, and you can tell anybody anything that pertains to you because you are certain that this is who I am. So it is very important for you to be self-aware. Self-discovery is one of the greatest discoveries of mankind. I believe this is a quote by Miles Monroe. It says, when you do not discover yourself, you become somebody else. And oh my God, what a frustrating thing to be. Somebody else. Imagine spending all the years of your life on earth being anybody but yourself. Absolutely not. Now, I have some questions here that can guide you when you are asking yourself, how do I discover who I am? The first thing is, if you had to describe who you are in one sentence, what would it say? Now, you can take your time to answer this. This is not something that you are saying to impress somebody. This is a question of introspection. This is something that requires you looking deep within and asking yourself so that you can bring out the most authentic answers. For me, how I came about this tagline, dynamic, unique, outstanding, I've shared it in my previous videos, but I'm going to go over it briefly. It was something that I discovered when I was forced to create an identity around myself, around my brand. I didn't want to name it something random, and so I had to ask myself, what is the most interesting thing about me? What is the thing that stands out about me? And I started to think, I believe that I am not just one thing. I knew that I was a multi-potentialite, but I had not come across that word yet. So the best and the closest word I had was dynamic. And from my knowledge of science, I knew it was the opposite of static. So I felt, well, I am not static. I am dynamic. I can do several things and do them well. And so I said, good, I am dynamic. But soon after, I realized I'm not just dynamic, I am also unique, because at each and every of these things, I do them very well. I do them in such a way that no one else can. No one else can do it the exact way that Temiloluwa would do it. And so I said, good, dynamic and unique. But very soon, I came across another word, outstanding. And I took that from something that I got from people about me, which I will soon discuss. I said, actually, I'm not just dynamic and unique. Whenever I walk into the room, I stand out. And so I decided to add that, dynamic, unique, outstanding. And that's how we have our tagline. For you, it might be something, not 3 words, it might be a whole sentence. It might be like, I am like the light bulb in a dark room. That's amazing. That's a good way to start. You know something about yourself. Fine. Now you do further digging. You ask yourself more questions, and then you begin to make progress. The second question you can ask yourself is, when do you feel the most like your authentic, unedited self? For me, it's when I'm teaching. When I am speaking like this, when I am sharing knowledge, I feel so authentic. I feel so real. I do not feel like I am trying too hard. From the time that I was little, I always jumped at the opportunity to stand up and speak and teach and share any knowledge that I had. And so it was a no-brainer for me. I immediately knew whenever I am teaching, I am most myself. I am most satisfied. I am most fulfilled. The third question here is, what drains your energy and how can you set better boundaries to protect your peace? Now, I deliberately included this because I believe that one of the ways to know what you like is by knowing what you don't like. Sometimes what will give you a pointer to who you are is the thing around you that upsets you, the thing that drains your energy, that thing that you want to stay away from as fast as possible. It could be a pointer to the fact that this thing is not in my line, is not my calling. I can do anything else but this. And so yes, as I'm speaking to you right now, I'm sure some ideas are dropping in your mind. You're taking yourself down memory lane. You are remembering certain things that you have always been good at, things that have come to you naturally. And you're asking yourself, could this really be a pointer to my purpose? We're going to find out. Another important thing that I want you to know, now this is not a question, is personality tests. When it comes to personality tests, I like to say that they do not define your worth. They do not define who you are. They can only help to open your eyes to certain areas of yourself, and you can see where your strengths lie, what your weaknesses are, and you can be open to improvement. There are dozens of personality tests online, okay? You probably cannot exhaust every single one of them, but I have linked a few of them in the description. So if you're watching this video, make sure to click on them in the description. Just tap on the title of this video and then you see the description and you can access the link. All of those links, again, are meant to guide you. They are not supposed to be the final say over your life, and they are not supposed to make you box yourself and say, I can't do more than this, I can't improve better than this. And if you do not like the result that you get, remember, there is room for improvement. There are several ones you can take for communication, for personal development, for interpersonal relationships, as much as you can. All of this will help you to think deeply and to know a bit more about yourself. Okay? Let's move on to the next point. So now, just before I leave that point, I want to remind you of what the Bible says about you. When you're looking into yourself, let me tell you what the Bible says. Ephesians 2 verse 10 says, "For we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus so that we can do the things, the good things He planned for us long ago." Do you know what a masterpiece is? Have you seen a work of art? Have you seen a famous artist call something a masterpiece? It's like his best work yet. And that is how God sees you. God created you and said, this is a masterpiece. So when you're looking inwards, remember not to do it from the lens of self-doubt or low self-esteem. Do not debase yourself and say, I am only this small. I cannot do more than this. I cannot be greater than this. Oh no. God has created you as a masterpiece. So begin to see yourself as the better version, as a masterpiece version. All right? Now let's move to the next point. The third point here is to look outwards. And when I say look outwards, I mean look at your environment. Listen, nature gives clues. Your environment gives you answers, sometimes subtle, to the questions that have been in your heart, to the longings in your heart. Your environment could be talking to you in terms of the people that give you compliments. What do people praise you for? What do people always tell you that you are good at? What is that thing that you do that you get compliments for, even when you have just done the bare minimum, even when you appeared without much practice or without any practice at all, and you get people saying, oh my God, you were built for this, you were born for this, you were made for this, you are so good at this, you should really monetize this. What is that skill? What is that gift? That could be a pointer. That could be your environment talking to you. Another thing is, what situations seem to constantly get your attention? Why is it that everybody else looks past the beggars on the street, but whenever you pass by and you see a beggar, you are drawn to them? You want to get them off the street. You want to help them. You want to alleviate their poverty status. What is it about the beggars on the streets that keep calling to you? What is it about the poor orphaned child on the streets that gets to you? You're a banker, but somehow your mind never leaves people and their outfits. Someone walks into your office and all you're thinking is, this dress could be better. This styling is not appropriate. Oh, this outfit is totally wrong. How can I piece one and two together? And you're already thinking of how you could design someone's entire outfit because of a wardrobe mishap that you saw. That could be a pointer to your purpose. That could be helping you actualize your potential. That is an environment giving you a clue to something that God has placed on the inside of you. Please do not neglect your burdens. Please do not dampen the voice of your environment. Another pointer to what your environment could be telling you is what opportunities always surround you. Why is it when you are around that certain needs arise? Look, if you're a person of the spirit, you will know that this is not a coincidence at all. Why is it when you showed up that they said, last minute, we need somebody to anchor this event, our master of ceremonies could not make it, could you please help us? And then you did it and it looks like you've been informed ahead for like days. Why is it when you show up that they say, look, my dress got spoiled last minute, could you please help me fix something up? Why do these opportunities always show up when you are around? That could be a clue that the environment is giving you to let you know that these things, you are supposed to be doing them for life. Like, this is your calling. Those are important things to take note of and begin to consciously ask yourself about. Tell yourself, I have done this, I have done this, I have done that. What is it about these things that does not leave me alone, that does not leave my heart, that makes me constantly think about them, that keeps me up at night? Answering those questions is the journey to being a better version of yourself. Now that we have spoken about the 3 major places to look at when you want to discover your purpose, I want to introduce some hacks that will help you to not only actualize your potential, but also maximize your potential. Now, I'm going to put it in a sequence just so that it looks very professional. The first is self-discovery. The next is self-development and self-outpouring. Can you see that? You should clap for me. It starts with self-discovery, then moving on to self-development, and then self-outpour. What does this mean? The very first thing, we've talked about self-development a bit when I asked you to look inwards, conduct personality tests, do some introspection. But I want to emphasize another important thing in the area of self-development, and that is hunger for learning. Listen to me, you need to have a voracious appetite for knowledge. The best people on this earth are not people who only have the talent. They are the people who are willing to know more. Albert Einstein once said, "I am not talented. I am only passionately curious." Can you imagine that? The very renowned physicist himself saying something like that. That means that when you are equipped with so much knowledge, there is literally nothing that you cannot do. And when I say have a voracious appetite for knowledge, I'm saying read wide, travel wide, and it does not even have to be physically traveling. You can travel wide through books, you can travel wide through movies, perform culture studies from the materials that you have access to, find out about places beyond your present living circumstances. Constantly seek to enlighten yourself. That is the person that lives without limitations. The person who has a vast mental capacity to know about things beyond their immediate environment. That is the actual person that is not limited. That is the actual person that is constantly seeking and striving to get better. You need to be able to tell yourself that if there is any knowledge on the surface of the earth that is accessible to me, I will get it. If there is something I need to know, especially as it pertains to your field, if you have known your field, if you have found out what your calling is, you could go as far as deep as you can get to know every single thing that there is to know about that area. Your life will not remain the same again. So yes, when it comes to self-development, you have to pay the price, get so much information, constantly find out what is going on, ask questions, meet with people who are already advanced in that field and submit yourself to learning under them. As you continue to do this, you will start to notice the changes in your life and you will not even be able to recognize who you used to be. Okay? Now that we have talked about self-discovery, let's move on to self-development. And the point that I have for you here is service. 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 You see that I mentioned it 3 times. It is something that I cannot overemphasize. You have to serve. Mahatma Gandhi once said, the best place to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. I know it sounds like I want to find myself, but you ask me to lose myself. What's that? But it is very, very true. Ask anybody, any leader who has had the privilege to serve before they rose up to greatness. They will tell you that that period of service contributed immensely to their lives. Let me tell you the benefits of service. Service provides you with a training ground. You have access to experiment. You have access to make all your mistakes early. You have access to even be supervised by someone who has even gone ahead of you. Another thing is service will give you work experience. When you serve, you are able to develop your skills. You have all the experience that you need at that time from doing the work and from serving under that person. Another important thing is that service will strengthen your interpersonal relationships. Service will test those skills of yours, how you interact with people, your communication skills, how people treat you, how you react to what people do to you. All of those will be tested in the place of service. So, for instance, you're working in your mom's shop. You're helping her to look over her accounts book. You help her to do some bookkeeping. You balance the records. You sell some items to her customers. You think you're just helping your mom out, right? No. What you're actually doing is you're building yourself. You're learning more in math, in finance, in accounting. You're learning a bit about commerce because you hear your mother talk about the profits, the loss, her capital when she has to restock. You're learning about the price of the goods and how to sell it to the customers and convince them to buy it. And you're also learning how to handle different customers. Some will come with a good temper, some will come with a terrible temper. Sometimes you have to calm down and explain to them regardless of how you feel. Sometimes you have to change it for them, like we say in Nigerian parlance, and say, excuse me, I will not tolerate this. All of those things are building you. They are making you better. You are actualizing your potential in that process, even though you may not know it. So you might be asking me, but I do not have somebody's shop to start with. So how do I serve? Listen, you can start anywhere. Start where you are. There is always an opportunity to volunteer where you are. Start there. Volunteer. Wherever you see a need and you can feel it, by all means, go there and fill that need. You have a certain skill that is in need, don't be quick to charge for it. Offer your skills to them pro bono. In the process, you're learning and you're also giving. Trust me, by the time you go through that phase, you will come out a well-equipped and well-rounded person. Now to self-outpour. I have two major points under this, and the first thing I'm going to talk about is impact. Impact. Now, if you remember in secondary school days, I'm not sure if it is still a practice right now. Back in secondary school, there used to be writings on the wall by students who had graduated from the school. Now, before they leave the school, they will write things like XYZ was here, forget me not, when so and so was here. And sometimes you come to the school as a new student and you're reading all these things on the wall and you're thinking, wow, so someone who bore this name was here. Oh, perhaps this person was the social prefect because I can tell from what this person wrote, and so on and so forth. But we all know that that is not exactly a way to keep your name in the hearts of anybody. In fact, it could be considered as an act of vandalism, and before you know it, the school can decide to do some renovation and then they will erase everything you have written just with one paint. But I said that to say that every human being longs to be remembered. People want to have their names immortalized. They want people to think about them and say, this person, we can never forget them in a hurry because of something that they did or they said. But when it comes to impact, the best place to write forget me not is not on the walls of school buildings. It's not on a board somewhere. It's not even on somebody else's palms. The best place to write forget me not is in the hearts of men. And I found out recently that this was attributed to an American poet, Alice Carey. I am saying this because I do not want you to be selfish. I know we're talking about your purpose, we're talking about your potential, we're talking about your destiny here. But the best way that you can maximize your potential is when you make an impact on somebody else's life. Look for a place where you can make a meaningful difference. Think about something you will do that will outlive you, that will last even when you are no longer there. See that need, find it and fill it up. Meet it, and you will see that much more than any other thing that you could do, that particular act will remain remembered for the rest of time. We have several names in history that whenever they come up, people instantly remember what they did. People do not have to think so far before they remember these people because they have done so many things that everybody keeps talking about them. We have buildings named after people. In fact, we have holidays around the world for certain people because of the impactful things that they have done. If you're thinking of maximizing your potential, do something that will outlive you. Do something as an act of outpouring of yourself, not just for today, but for the future. All right. The last point I'm going to talk about here, and as an act of self-outpour, is have an excellence-driven mindset. Listen to me. Mike Farrell once said, there is no failure if you do your best. In other words, what matters is the effort, not necessarily the outcome. If you commit to giving your absolute best to every endeavor that you set your hand upon, Every single time people talk about you, they will not leave that out. I am genuinely tired of the wave of mediocrity that is going around in our day and age. It seems like people are satisfied with average. We just want to do the bare minimum and go. And this is sad because it's happening mostly among the young people. We're supposed to be the ones with so much potential, so much light, so much life. We're supposed to be the ones that will go all out and do the best and wow a lot of people. We have technology to our advantage. That should count for something. But instead, a lot of people just want to do something that will be okay. Oh, at least I tried and I can't kill myself. But I am here to tell you that what goes far and what lasts is something that is done excellently. Everybody can try to do something, but the minute you do your own excellently, nobody will forget you. Nobody will look at your work and say, this is just fine. No, it will become the gold standard because it is far better. It surpasses every other person's work. So whether you want to apply this to your work, whether you want to apply this to your service, whether you want to apply this to your relationship with others, be the person that stands out. Be the person that does something that is worthy of the applause. Be the person that does something that everybody is now copying your template and saying, this is the best we have seen so far. If you want to pour out yourself, you might as well do it to an excellent standard. Is that not true? All right. Thank you so much for watching up to this point. I believe that you have gained so much value from this video. Please do well to share it to 1 or 2 or 100 people around you. Let us make this knowledge go far and wide. And if you have not subscribed up till now, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. You can also like this video. Leave a comment telling me something that stood out for you in this video. And if you have a question, very importantly, I want to hear from you. Tell me what your questions are, and I may do just another video answering your questions. Meanwhile, a bonus session in this video is, drum rolls, Q&A. There is this one question that I get almost all the time when I talk about purpose fulfillment, purpose discovery, self-actualization, and it is the question of, hey, what if I am actually graced to do more than one thing? And my answer to that is, of course, I can relate. I do not believe that humans were created to do just one thing. As a matter of fact, you're supposed to be able to do more than one thing. But many times, the world seems to favor people who are specialists over generalists. The world likes people who mention specific things that they do best, rather than someone who says, oh, I'm good at a number of things. There's also this popular saying, jack of all trades, master of none. But I'm sure you know it is an incomplete quote. I have this to say to you, fellow multi-potentialite. I want you to see all your giftings as assignments to carry out one major purpose that God has given you. All your skills, all your talents, all the many things you can do are not supposed to distract you. They are supposed to coalesce into one big purpose. Think of them as different rooms in one building. And when you have that sense of union, instead of different discrete items, you begin to see how they can serve that purpose. For instance, if you are good at singing, if you're good at writing, if you're good at playing games, whatever it is, but you notice that at the heart of everything, what you truly want to do is to teach. You just want to make sure that you can dispense information, you can show and display knowledge. All of those gifts can serve that purpose. In your singing, you can teach. In your playing of games, you can show other people how it's done, enlighten them, teach them to be pros at that game. Whatever it is that your gift is, there is most likely a particular purpose, something at the core that all of those gifts are meant to serve. Now, for your different gifts, nurture them, Grow in each one of them. Do not let one die because you're paying too much attention to the other, but also have the wisdom and the discernment to know when to allow one to go low so that the other one can increase. Know which season of your life requires more of a certain gift compared to another gift. I have to tell you, it's not something that you figure out at once. It's a continuous journey. Finally, I'm going to recommend this book that DDK recommended to me. It's titled Your Problem is That You Are Multi-Talented. It's by Dr. Sam Ekundayo. I want you to get that book. I want you to read it, and perhaps it can answer all your questions, even beyond the one that I have provided for you right now. Thank you so much for watching this video. I am so glad that you stuck around with me up till this point. Remember, as usual, you have to like it, share, leave a comment, and hit the subscribe button if you have not done so. Till another time, I want you to live to the fullest of your potential and continue to lead a dynamic, unique, and outstanding life. Again, my name is Temiloluwa Grace Owolabi. God bless you.